Breaking news. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot in the act of a political assassination at Utah College. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's talk about it. So, Kirk was speaking at a debate hosted by his nonprofit political organization, Turning Point, I believe the name is. And this was immediately before the shooting. Kirk was taking questions from an audience member about mass shootings and gun violence. They asked, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Kirk responded, too many. The question follow up, do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Kirk asked that. As soon as he asked that, it came out of nowhere. A single shot rang out, and the shooter, who Cox pledged to be held accountable in the state of the death penalty, wore dark clothing and fired from a roof on the campus a couple of distances away. It's a tragedy, man. And before I get to what I have to say, I'm just giving y'all some facts behind this before I give my opinion. The death was announced on social media by Trump, who praised the 31-year-old Kirk, and he was the co-founder / CEO of the youth organization Turning Point USA. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the U.S. better than Charlie. That's what Trump said right here in this post. Utah University said the campus was immediately evacuated and remained closed. Classes were canceled until further notice. Those on campus who asked to stay in place until police officers could safely escort them off campus just stayed. Armed officers walked around the neighborhood bordering the campus, knocking on doors, asking for information for the shooter. But apparently they found out who it was. So as all of this was going on, Kirk was speaking at the Utah University in the courtyard for the launch of his American Comeback Tour. He was hosting a Prove Me Wrong table and had just begun responding to questions before it all happened. And this is what he usually does. He's known for his vulgar content within his podcast, and, you know, the rhetoric that everyone doesn't really agree with behind his stance on politics, because he is right-wing activist, right? However, I don't think this was a good look in America and for us as a society. I'm not going to blame the generation, but I just want to say, yo, this is not a real place, and this is crazy. I'm not taking any sides. Once again, this is unbiased news that I am providing. I just think it's pretty crazy that we're where we are right now in America. That man is still a man at the end of the day. He's a father. He has 2 children who will never see him again, and he can't raise a wife who he can't be there to love and take care of. This is very unfortunate. I wasn't a fan of Charlie Kirk and the things he said. However, that was a Christian man and someone who had freedom of speech. He was for the Second Amendment and spoke about the Second Amendment a lot. However, it's kind of ironic how and unfortunate that this was to happen, because if you look at this video that I'm about to show and understand why a lot of people were against him, is sometimes the things he says within his speeches. But he's just, honestly, he's speaking from the heart, not saying it's coming from a good place or a bad place. He's just speaking his mind. Kirk was taken to the hospital but tragically passed away at 31 years old. Nobody should be passing away this young. His death was confirmed, of course, by Trump, and the event sparked shock across the political spectrum all in all. Lawmakers from both parties condemned the shooting, calling for a renewed commitment to civil disclosure. Charlie wasn't just an activist, but he was also the co-founder of Turning Point USA, as he built this when he was 18 into a leading conservative youth organization. He hosted The Charlie Show on YouTube, which he had hundreds and thousands of listeners. Visibility and combative style, which made him a central figure, of course, in this Gen Z conservative era of politics, I'd say. And you only got to agree with what Kirk's views was, because from what I'm seeing, he was recognized on certain topics and how impactful now that this is happening within his death, you will see a lot of this stuff resurface. He was a father of two, speaking in public as his kids were there. Did you know his kids were actually there? I don't think any kid should witness their father go through that, and that happens every day in the hoods and the communities. But this right here is different, though, right? It's different as well. It's not better than anything else that's happening out there, but I'm just saying it was live when people are on their social medias and posting this stuff. You got people out there getting content, making a mockery out of it, saying, oh, follow me and all this stuff while they really there. I get it, man. You got to get your hustle on when you're doing your content or whatever, but you got to show some respect to the family. So my condolences to this guy and his family, man. It's very unfortunate. This isn't an isolated incident. It follows other violent attacks targeting political figures, highlighting a disturbing trend that may continue to go on and on. Do we actually have freedom of speech? It's a lot of people that can't take some of the things that he said, whether it was real or not. There's a lot of people that were hurt by the things he said. This isn't a moment to cheer on or judge. It's a moment basically to reflect on how deeply polarized rhetoric can lead to a real world consequence. Because that's what's going on right now. You have people who are out there speaking their minds on society, and there's other people out there who just they can't deal with it. You can try to understand his influence, which doesn't require agreement with any of his beliefs, but it is some type of recognition for how his message probably shaked the room up with conversations, and I'll say it shaped the public engagement. Now, from my research and what I see, the shooter is confirmed as Michael Mallinson, who is a registered Democrat in Utah, and that was the guy who did the job. That is all the information they have on him right now. We'll be able to update on that later or as time passes. But all in all, I just want to say my condolences to the families. Y'all please be safe out there, because we just have people out there who aren't really there. Not sure what Charlie did out there or said to certain people. He probably triggered certain people in some ways. I know he said a lot, actually. I don't want to be blind to him. However, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of him. I did come across some of his stuff like on YouTube or X, and I just wasn't too much agreeing with everything he said. However, I still know that no person deserves to go out like that. Y'all assassinated this man like he is physically hurting people out here or creating some type of genocide. And nobody should be doing God's work like that. So prayers out to his family. My condolences. Tell me what y'all think about this in the comments. How are we going to grow from this as a generation and a society? What's going to happen next? Like, what does this mean? Is this going to be a trend of events that's going to happen the same way? Is this going to be maybe a positive thing that would probably make them question the Second Amendment? It's just a lot that comes with this situation right now, and it's very sad at this moment speaking about these type of events. So make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell to stay notified for more topics like this. One love.